sweep the leg. You have a problem with that?
No, Sensei.
No mercy. Still points to Russo.
Brutal. Crane. Done. Done. And we are back, y'all. It is your favorite nerdy girl here, Nerdy Girl Reviews. And we are back with another review for, if you guessed it, Cobra Kai Season 4. Quiet! I love it. I love the whole thing of it. If you want to hear and see the full commentary, keep me locked here on YouTube. If you're watching this on Instagram, click the link in bio. If you're watching this on IG Stories, click the link. It'll link you back to my YouTube channel. And if you'd like to see my other reviews and recaps, you can catch me on sofritoforyoursoul.com. Stay tuned, y'all.
Ready? Let's begin.
Now, everything that you've been listening to are small video clips of the audios from the Cobra Kai series. The first few moments is where we left off, at least the character of Johnny Lawrence. That was the infamous scene and famous scene of pop culture where Daniel, played by Ralph Macchio, does the whole crane thing and crane kick and defeats our villain of Johnny Lawrence. And it sets the snowball effect of what eventually becomes his life. Now, I'm not going to do a whole recap of the last 3 seasons, just for the simple fact that I think every single one of them deserves its love and care. I just wanted to do a recap for season 4 because I fell in love. I mean, since the inception of this on YouTube, and I will be that person to admit that I did not watch it on YouTube. I thought, honestly, the first time I saw Karate Kid was at my local theater of the RKO, and sadly it's no longer. But the theaters were so beautiful. It just had that very like plush vaudeville movie experience. It was one of those traditional theaters that honestly should have been saved just for landmark purposes, but those are the politics of New York City. But I just remember when I saw it there and how it just like cemented my love for the Karate Kid, especially Ralph Macchio. He was like my childhood crush. Along with Jason Priestley, but he definitely was one of those up there that I just and I didn't even think of Joey. I mean, I keep saying Joey, forgive me. Johnny Lawrence's character, played by Billy Zabka, just for the simple fact that he was the villain, and nobody, really wanted to champion the villain. A lot of these movies, especially from the 80s, even though we love them and they're near and dear to us, especially to us 80s babies and 90s babies, it was because it was very clear cut of light and darkness, good versus evil, even down to their gi, their uniform that they wear when they're in their matches. Daniel is in all white and Johnny is all in black. Little do we know that in real life they're really great people and genuinely kind people. And they actually had a great rapport while they were shooting which is so, it's just honestly, it kind of sends you for a loop, because when you find out information, when you do more research on the show and backstory of these actors, uh, William, who played Johnny, is younger than than Ralph, who played Daniel is I think because of the way Ralph looked then, that he honestly could pass for like 15, even though he was like 26 when he shot Karate Kid. And roughly like 25, 26. And Johnny, played by William, was 22. So he's younger, but I think because he's taller, he looks a lot more intimidating. To then later find out too that his real life, William's life in real life, mirrored more of Danny's upbringing in real life. He's actually from Long Island. I just found all this stuff out as I was doing more research on the show. He's from Long Island. He's a Long Island kid. And had to be, they uprooted as a family. His father was in production and was able to move out to California. So he went from like New York to Cali, and was bitten by the acting bug. But he was always around production sets because of his dad. And one of his few first calls was like, one of them was the Karate Kid. He had like shot a commercial prior to, and it's amazing to me the level of talent on him, because amazing that when you see the film, regardless of how people interpret it, some people say that like the acting was a little on the weak side. I don't look 80s movies, kind of like how people are shooting movies now. I do not judge, but what I will say is that the way he approached the role is that he's like doing backflips and all this. Prior to him being on set as in playing Johnny Lawrence, he had no previous experience. He had never even been in a dojo, had no karate experience, had never been on a dirt bike. And you watch the movie and he looks like he's been doing it since he was in Pampers. So kudos to him for pulling that off. But unfortunately, he was a little typecast soon after. He just kept playing bully after bully after bully, and was pursuing a film degree, because he just wanted to be a filmmaker from the very beginning, and went on to do that, and to great success. One of his movies was nominated for an Oscar. Again, I'm just giving you some backstory in case you didn't know. If you haven't, if you like are living under a rock and don't know that this show is like the best right now. But that's all amazing to find out. And of course, he didn't get the degree, but his real education took place on set. I mean, that's the best place to be, because then you find out what you need to do and whatnot. But he went on to have a very successful career, unlike his character of Johnny, who unfortunately peaked in high school and then soon after just went through a downward spiral. And all of this, backstory for this show was motivated by fans' response, like real fans of the movie, and how they came up with these conspiracy theories that, in fact, what's rumored in the rumor mill and the YouTube world of conspiracy theorists, they have categorized that Johnny Lawrence was the actual Karate Kid, and the true villain, the true bully, was Ralph Macchio's character of Danny. And there's like an extensive amount of information on YouTube that I can link in the description box below on how they dissect everything, but it kind of makes sense. And so the viewing public became the devil's advocate for this movie, that it would go and inspire this show. And the way they tested the waters was, which again, this was another show I wasn't like that big of a fan of, sorry to say. I knew of the characters of How I Met Your Mother, and especially the character of Barney. On the show, was a big fan, and he's played by Patrick Neil Harris. And if he sounds familiar and you're a big 80s kid, Doogie Howser, he was the child doctor from that series, and also went off to have a great career, thriving career on Broadway, on TV shows, films. He's also in Matrix, which I have to review. But he was such a fan of the movie of the Karate Kid that they had cameos with Ralph Macchio and with William Zabka in the episode, and that's another small clip I can link in the description box below. But one of the friends in the show of How I Met Your Mother, that friend to Barney, which is Lily, played by Allison Hannigan, if you remember her for Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the series. She thought the Karate Kid, he had meant Ralph Macchio, but in fact it was actually William Zabka's Johnny Lawrence. So that would be the predecessor to what eventually, and all the YouTube videos would lead to this script, and then it would become the phenomenon it has become today. And I want to say it has something to do with just the amount of audience participation. People have been able to voice an opinion, and they've turned that into a series. So this is where we differ from, and just like that, not that I'm saying that now necessarily every show has to take public opinion, but especially when it concerns characters that are so beloved that people do not want you to touch or to even scratch their favorite beloved characters. So for you to take a legacy such as the Karate Kid and do it service, do it justice like this show has, that's why I'm saying any other reboot, because perfect example also with ABC and Roseanne, that went sour and quick, and then they tried to save it with doing the Connors, and I really haven't heard much talk about it since. I think they're still on air, don't quote me, but again, if you're going to touch beloved characters, people that hold these characters near and dear to their heart, do them justice. And this is like, they have taken notes, they have like every conspiracy theory. I think the creators of the show sat, analyzed it, reanalyzed it, and have been able to push out the great content. Even during COVID, the stories have been compelling. I literally was glued with my popcorn. I was like, this is a great and awesome show. You can't beat it. And honestly, it's #1 in the entire country, and I think internationally, because Netflix goes international. So we're talking about a lot of eyeballs on this show. It's #1, and it premiered on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day? No, sorry, New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve it premiered, and I watched it a couple of days later. But oh my God, it's 10 episodes. It is the best web series that you can find, and just the fact that they launched on YouTube, where all of the conspiracy theories came together, and they were able to kind of like conjoin all that and bring all these beloved characters even back, even the beloved villains, because even the villains were loved, regardless of how people felt about like Kreese, and Kreese, the sensei of Cobra Kai, right, with Karate Kid, and then our other famous villain, which would be his, right-hand man, I guess, Terry Silver, that was made popular in the Karate Kid Part 3. Which, mind you, I gotta say, this entire cast of gentlemen, and even, they brought back even Elizabeth Shue from the first Karate Kid. She played Allie, the love interest, former flame of Johnny and new flame of Danny.